Hello, welcome to Conjugal Bliss. I am Priscilla Ashonibari. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to be starting a topic that will take us for a while to talk about today. Um, in case you were not with us when we started discussing about how to deal with difficult people, I hope you can be able to follow. If you were with us, you're able to watch that series. But in case you were not with us, let me just give a quick background, because the topic we are going to be talking about today is dealing with difficult family relationship. Dealing with difficult family relationship. But before we can be able to continue with that, I have to give you a little recap of what we said about how to deal with difficult people, some of the characteristics of a difficult person. The Bible said in Hebrews 12:14 that we should follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. Many times we focus more on the B part, which is very, very important, because if you are not living a holy life, you cannot make it to heaven. But we always forget the A part of it that will actually make it easier for you to live the B part of that verse. Hebrews 12:14. Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. You have to follow peace with all men. If you're following peace with all men, you're not going to be jealous of the person. You're not going to wish the person any evil. You're not going to steal for the person. You're not going to hate the person. You're not going to do things that will make life miserable for another person. It means that your love work will be a good one. You remember, faith works by love. And it said, this is how people will know that you are my disciples, when you have love one towards the other. So, dealing with difficult people, you need patience, according to 2 Timothy 2:14. It said that you have to be patient with difficult people. And remember, in Romans 12:18 also says, for as long as it lies with you, as long as it depends on you, your own part, do your own part. Do what? Live peaceably with all men. Difficult people are those that they are hard to deal with, because they have some of these characteristics. They are rigid. They will think their own way is the only way things will have to be done. They have this I do know mentality. To them, everything is a competition, and so on and so forth. Now, imagine if you have to deal with such a difficult person, and that difficult person is your family member. Another characteristic of a difficult person that makes it very hard to deal with such people is because they have low empathy. They have low empathy. It's not easy for them to see things from the perspective of the other. And because of that, sometimes people will think as if they don't care at all. It's as if they are not sensitive to people's feelings. And dealing with such people can be a headache. Now, imagine if such a person is your family member. How can you be able to deal with such person? Because there's no how that you are not going to meet such people in life. And sometimes you can have one or two of such difficult people who are your family members. It can be a husband, can be a wife, can be a sister, can be a brother, can even be your parents. But the fact that these people are family members means that you cannot do without them. You still have to deal with them. Remember, family is a lifelong social support system. Your family is the place where you get to learn how to live life, how to relate with people. You get to learn so many things. So there's no how you have to deal with people who are in your family. Family is very important. That is why, as a psychologist, when I have clients, one of the things that I look for, which is backed up by research, is I look for the kind of social system that this person has. If the client has a very good social system, especially if the social system is the family, then I know that it will be easier for him or her to recover. God helping us. Meaning that the family is very important, even for you to be able to overcome some of the challenges of life. When you have a family that is supporting you, it gives you that peace of mind. It gives you the motivation to continue with life. Family is a place where we learn so many things. It is where you can be vulnerable and know that people will still accept you. It is where you can really be you. It is where people celebrate your achievements, and if the reverse is the case, you have people who will be there for you. But notwithstanding this, notwithstanding how much we love one another in the family, definitely we will offend one another. And when the offenses come, how do you handle the offenses? Sometimes you can be able to just settle it between the conflict between you and that particular person. And sometimes it can be that you might need someone to intervene in order for you to resolve the conflict. Whatever it can be, the main thing is make sure that you live at peace with every member of your family. It's so unfortunate also that in the family relationship is also where people get hurt sometimes and they find it hard to move on. And this can lead to psychological problems. It can lead to them being sensitive, becoming irrational, and so many things can go wrong. And when this happens, such people can now begin to live in fear and anxiety, because the family, where it's supposed to be a place of solace, a place of comfort, is not providing what it's supposed to be. You now see, because of that particular difficult person that is in the family, even when there's a family gathering, you see people who will be afraid of going to such gatherings. They will have anxiety. Some will not even be able to sleep. They will have sleepless nights, all because they will have to deal with a particular difficult person in the family. Now, how can we be able to avoid such? How can we be able to deal with such situations? Because if it's not dealt with, sometimes such people can even end up with depression, in that they will begin to blame themselves. Why are you putting up with that? You need to stand up. You need to do this. You need to... but because they do not have the capacity to stand up to the person, they do not have the capacity to know how to relate with a difficult person, they think they are helpless. So they will avoid such family gatherings. That's why you see sometimes they will say, oh, sorry, I cannot come. I have something doing. They will not attend the family gathering. So now, how can we be able to know how to deal with these difficult people? I think before we can be able to know how to deal with the difficult people, let's look at areas where families do have conflicts. What are the causes of family conflicts? Okay, the number one cause of family conflict is finances. Family finances. You see many siblings who are living together in harmony, there's peace, but all of a sudden there'll be, when an issue of money comes up, then the whole family will be at a disarray. You see siblings fighting. As a matter of fact, you hear stories of siblings looking for how to eliminate the other to kill the other, all because of inheritance. All because of inheritance. Not too long ago, a member of a church came to us, I think sometime last year, and she said that when her grandfather died, the maternal grandfather died, he left a lot of inheritance, to the children, and her mom happened to be the only girl that is prominent. The others are men, and because of a relative somewhere, did she just discover that all of a sudden all the men in the family were dying one after the other, until the only one that is left that could stand up and say, no, you cannot take our inheritance, was the mom. And by the time she was telling us, she said the mother just woke up one day and she had stroke, and they'd be taking her from one place to the other, one hospital, all because the relatives wanted to get the inheritance. So, in order to avoid family members fighting over inheritance, listen to me, parents. It is so unfortunate that in our society, when you tell people this, they would think you're not wishing them well. What is it? Write a will. Write a will. You're not too young to write a will. Somebody say, are you wishing me dead? No, I'm not wishing you dead. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, I had the story of this wife that told the husband, because God started blessing the husband, she now told the husband, she said, my husband, I think you should write a will. And the husband said, you want to kill me? Actually, the husband went and reported to his people. He said, I think my wife wants to kill me. She's telling me to write a will. The fact that you are writing a will does not mean that you are going to die. It is very important. I remember there's this man that said, as soon as he saw that God was blessing him, at the age of 40, he wrote a will, and what was it that he was sharing among his children? His suits, his shoes, his clothes. And the wife was laughing, and he said, yeah, those are the things I have now. But thank God that now he has houses and other forms of investment that he could leave for his children. There's this story of this woman. We know this woman in our former place of work before we transferred to where we are in right now. This woman, she told us her story. She's in a cross-cultural marriage. The husband is from a different tribe and she's from another tribe. And she said, unfortunately, the husband died early in the marriage and she had just 4 children already. And before you know it, the relatives, they came, and shortly after the husband was buried, and they got everything, I would say everything from her, including the house that the husband built. Now imagine this is a woman with her children, they're living a comfortable life. She's bereaved of her husband, and the other thing that could happen was she and her children became homeless. She now says she's grateful to God that the husband did not list among his investments, among his properties, the things he had, one particular house that wasn't completed yet. So she said she and her children, they now moved to that building that was not completed, and that was where they were living. So they went from grace to grass, suffering. And I was grateful to God because this woman had a job, though the job was not something that could cater for all their needs, but at least she could put food on the table. And by the time she was telling us, to the glory of God, the children are grown, some of them are married, and they're doing very well. And by the time one of the children wanted to get married, they told us, they said no, that they don't want to see any of their father's people. We had to come in and tell them whatever they have done, look at how God had, glorified you all. Yes, you suffered for a while, but look at where he has helped you to be. What I'm trying to say here is write your will so that there won't be fights, conflicts, problems over inheritance. I also have this story of this man, that died. He had several wives and had lots of properties. When I say lots of properties, it's actually one of the daughters that was telling us about this, that after the father died, none of them could sit together and say, let's share our father's inheritance, because he never left a will. So write a will. It is very important. And another thing is that I see that is wrong in our society is that when husbands are writing their will sometimes, or they have properties, they have investments, they will now go and write their next of kin as a brother, a sister. That is wrong. Your next of kin should be your wife. I repeat, your next of kin should be your wife. Also recently, there's this man, very rich, doing well, and he left a business when he died just recently. He left a very flourishing business. And thank God that he wrote a will. And in his will, it was his firstborn, a son, that he wrote there as his next of kin. And the reason he wrote it was the mother is extravagant. So I think he knew that, okay, my wife will not be able to manage the business well. So he put the firstborn. And thank God the fourthborn, who is in his 20s, is trying to manage the business. So imagine if he didn't write a will. Maybe his brother somewhere, his sister somewhere might come and they might take over the business. Because what you don't know is if you will everything you have you use a brother somewhere or a sister somewhere to be your next of kin. By the time you die, they will take care of their own family before they would think of yours. So write a will. And another thing that you can do so that there'll be no problem in finances in the family is, parents, please teach your children how to handle money from a very tender age. Open bank accounts for them. I'm grateful to God for my mom while we were very young. She will buy us this piggy bank. Okay, that's what they call it now. But then it was this small round mud ball with a little opening at the top where you're going to put in your money so that you can put it in, but before you can get the money out, you have to break the small ball that is our own piggy bank then. And my mom, whenever you're given money, the ones that she didn't get from you, she said, okay, go and put it in the bank. Though sometimes she would get it, and when you ask, you say, all the food you've been eating in this house, all this, anyway, thank God for mothers. So she will ask you to put the money in the piggy bank. And when it is now Christmas, getting closer to Christmas at the end of the year, she would tell all of us, okay, bring the money you have been saving throughout the year, and you now break it, okay, and whatever you get from it, she will get it, she will take it to the market, and she will buy you something that you will love. So encouraging us to do what? To save. Though, let me tell something about myself then. So though sometimes I would take a stick of broom and I would get that piggy bank as supposed to be, and the mud something, and I would put it upside down and use the broom to try to pull out the money. But what we ended up knowing is, at the end of the year, if you have been doing that and you've been spending the money you're supposed to save, then it is whatever is left there that you will use to buy something for you. So encourage your children. Teach them how to be prudent. Teach them how to manage money from a very young age. It is not by the time they're now adults and I'll be telling them, okay, this is how you do it. It might be too late. The reverse also is when that causes a conflict financially in the family, is when the adult children are trying to control the finances of their aging parents. It's so unfortunate that sometimes you will see a child that will be trying to look for ways to get money from the aging parents. They will take the ATM card, they will go and withdraw money. Maybe the parent is not too strong, and cannot go to the ATM machine. We say, okay, go ahead, help me withdraw 5,000. They would get there, withdraw 7, give mama or baba 5, the remaining 2, they put it in their pocket. That you're not doing yourself anything good at all. You are supposed to be taking care of those aging parents, not taking from them. And by the time you know it, even sometimes you will now see a sibling that is, God is blessing, that is doing well financially, bringing things, bringing money to take care of their aging parents. You now see a particular one that will sit there and trying to get even what the other siblings brought. No, you are supposed to fend for yourselves. There are also financial disagreements when there are family events. For example, when there are weddings, when the aging parents, when they die and want to do the burials. These are sometimes when there will be conflicts in the home. Sometimes when the family have been living well together, they are now married, but when the parents now die and they want to now bury the parents, that is when the fight will start. You see some that after burying the parents, they will now become estranged. And the other will say, until I die, I will not talk to you. Until I die, I don't want to see your face. Then the difficult one will not start manifesting in the family. How can we be able to prevent that? So that when you have family gatherings, you have family occasions, you have family ceremonies, problems won't crop up that will now make the family to be disunited, to become dysfunctional. What you should do is come together, have a budget. Okay, this is the burial of a parent, these are the things we are going to do, and share the budget according to you can decide how are you going to share it. Are we going to share it according to seniority? Are we going to share it according to how God has blessed you financially? How are we going to share the budget for the ceremony so that there won't be any problem? Because sometimes you will now see a particular person in the family will end up being the one that will provide everything. And the irony is, you see those ones, the siblings that did not bring anything at all, they might end up being the one that will have the most number of guests. So the one that is providing the money, not be wondering, are you people taking me for granted? And before we know it, there'll be conflicts that will not be solved easily. We are discussing about dealing with difficult family relationship, and we have been trying to identify some of the areas where this difficulty, these conflicts might come from. How will they start in the home? Today we've specifically spoken about family finances. We said write a will. When there are family events, come together, have a budget and share it, and make sure that you contribute your own part. Don't take your siblings for granted. No, don't say because God has blessed a particular person among your siblings, then he should be the one to shoulder all the expenses. Even if it's a little portion that you can contribute, bring it and explain to them, this is what I can be able to bring now. Don't take any other person for granted. Don't try to play the wise one. You know, another thing some siblings would do is they will now pretend as if they have nothing, pretend as if their business is not doing well because they want the others to do the spending. Don't do that at all. And after you have agreed about what to give as a family, put it into writing so that nobody will come and say, no, I didn't hear very well. Put it into writing. Let everybody have a copy so that it is in black and white. We're discussing about dealing with difficult family relationship. Thank you so much for joining me today. By the grace of God, same time next week, we are going to be continuing this topic. God bless you.
This loving, this loving, this loving. Don't wanna lose this loving, this loving.